Welcome to the 13th and final SPSS video tutorial accompanying the first edition of the text Introduction to Statistics for Social Sciences. In this tutorial, we will show you how to conduct a Pearson's chi-square test of independence. For this tutorial, you will need the file Chapter 13 Video Tutorial Data.sav. This dataset consists of two nominal level variables, community and police. Suppose you are interested in examining the relationship between community location and citizens' perceptions of whether there is adequate police presence in the community. You identify two different community locations in a city. Community 1 is on the west side of the city, whereas Community 2 is on the east side. You then randomly select 10 respondents from each of the communities and ask them to respond either yes or no to the question, do you feel there is an adequate police presence in this community? The responses are then coded within the police variable as either 0 for no or 1 for yes. In order for us to test the hypothesis that there is a relationship between community location and adequate police presence, which are both measured as nominal variables, we will need to conduct a Pearson's chi-square test of independence. There are several ways to request this test in SPSS. However, if we also want to include a contingency table in our analysis, likely the easiest way to do this is to use the crosstabs menu in much the same way as we did in the SPSS tutorial for Chapter 2. To get to this menu, we go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then Crosstabs. Although we discussed the use of this menu in the tutorial for Chapter 2, this time we are going to use the statistics options that are available. However, before we do that, we will need to place one of our variables in the row box and the other in the column box. Next, we will click the Statistics option button, which will provide us with a choice of options for our analysis. The first option we will select is the Pearson's chi-square test. Next, since we have two nominal variables and both have two response categories, we will want to select the option for the phi coefficient so that we can assess the strength of the relationship. We then press Continue and then select the Cells option button so that we can request the expected values be included in our 2x2 contingency table. Finally, we press Continue and then OK to obtain the output. The first table of the output is the contingency table. Since we have already covered this table in the tutorial for Chapter 2, we won't cover it again here. The second table provides us with the chi-square tests. The Pearson chi-square test is located on the first line of this table. We can see that the chi-square value is 3.20 with 1 degree of freedom. We are also provided with the p-value associated with the chi-square value at the given degrees of freedom. If we were to use an alpha value of 0.05 for our hypothesis test, we would conclude that, given the p-value of 0.074 is greater than our alpha value of 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis of no association. Based on our sample, community location and perception of adequate police presence are not related. In the third table, we are given the phi coefficient, which provides us with a measure of the strength of the association. While a value of 0.40 indicates a weak to moderate relationship, we must remember that the relationship between the two variables is not significant. This brings us to the end of the SPSS tutorial for Chapter 13. We hope that you have enjoyed these tutorials and wish you the best in your work with the SPSS software.